Oh, I'm full of so much energy anytime I listen to this, signature tune. This is the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Nathaniel Atto. I'm your host. Glad to be in your company at this time. And of course, thanks to the Joy News team. And of course, the Current Affairs team for bringing us News File. So between now and 2 p.m., we're discussing the issue of player welfare. You know, it is very obvious that we're going through a turbulent time in our football. We've had so many discussions about the way to move the sport forward. But the big question is, how much premium are we placing on the people who do the eventual job on the pitches? Be they green, be they not so green. Player welfare, a very critical aspect of our football. And I'm guessing the consideration of that is what led to the Dr. Kofi Amwa-led normalization committee to ask for a meeting between captains of clubs and teams and the normalization committee. My guest in the studio, Yusuf Chipsa. By every stretch of imagination, a dedicated footballer back in his days when he played for the Black Stars. An accounting major who's also read economics and management. He currently serves as the General Secretary of the Ghana branch of FIFPro, which is the main welfare body under the world governing body FIFA. Do we ever pause to think about the welfare of the people who do the job on the pitches? If we do, how much weight are we placing on it? We're discussing all of these and more. And of course, there's a lot to expect this weekend in Europe. That big game, of course, that big game. Jose Mourinho's men are looking forward to doing something very, very fantastic later this weekend. And of course, the question is, are they able to achieve that? Go into Anfield, where Liverpool is looking pretty good, to upset the home fans there. Well, is that possible? Well, we live to see. So you can send us your messages. Remember, it's 0244340437. You can also join our Facebook live stream and place your messages there as we discuss the premium we're placing on player welfare as a football nation. And of course, as usual, to start all of this off, beloved in sport, I have a message for you.
I love it. It's Vim on the beat.
Of course, ahead of time, just remember that next week we're not bringing you, is it next week? So I was right. So next week, we're not bringing you the Joy Sports link. That's a very, very simple thing. The Joy FM party in the park. The family party in the park. It's happening at the Legon Botanical Gardens. So let's get everything started here on the Joy Sports Link. Once again, glad to be in your company. My name is Nathaniel Atto, and we're discussing player welfare and how much premium we're placing on it. Before that, and before we go into our discussion in Europe and in the English Premier League with our partners, the BBC, let me just dig into your thoughts this afternoon. So, beloved in sports, today I want to give you a two-pronged piece of food for thought. Now, in we have a few weeks to wrap up the year 2018, and we have seen our highs and our lows. Now, so one major scandal which brought us massive global embarrassment was that of the showing at the Commonwealth Games. If you'd realize, I have harped on this particular subject a couple of times, and I guess that until we see something done about it, I will continue to bore you in quotes with this particular subject. Once again, Ghana had a major scandal which brought massive global embarrassment after some persons posed as journalists and traveled to Australia hoping to go through immigration for the Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast. My expectation was that after His Excellency the President called for an investigation into the matter, the findings would be made public in the spirit of transparency, especially considering that some have been declared clean and have been found not to have done any wrongdoing based on the same investigation. So we are yet to get any indication as to when the report on that particular matter will be released. Now, I trust that you all agree with me that it doesn't take too much trouble for the content of a completed investigation of great public interest to be released. So the big question I asked last week, I will repeat today. Where is the report on our participation in the Commonwealth Games 2018 in Gold Coast, Australia? What were the findings made? Because under the same investigations, someone called Mr. Robert Safo-Mensah was suspended. Well, he had extra trouble because of his appearance and his supposed doings in the Anas number 12 documentary. So the question once again is, where is the report? I'm gladly told that this conversation is one that is, gaining a lot of ground. And a few days ago, some friends of ours at Ghana's premier tertiary educational institution, the University of Ghana, were also expressing a lot of concern about this matter. So the question is, where is the report on our participation in the Commonwealth Games? The visa scandal for the Commonwealth Games. Where is the report? We want to see that report. We want to see the content of the report. We want to see what the findings were, so that everybody's mind will be brought to rest. We're still here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. And let me go to matter number 2, after which we will zoom in on our discussions around what's happening in the English Premier League and elsewhere in Europe. Now, beloved in sport, in the early hours of Sunday last weekend, I was forced to put up a post. And this was based on the realization that some had decided to go along the tangent of trolling our defeated WBO Super Bantamweight champion Isaac the Royal Storm Dogbe on social media. So, beloved in sport, what I decided to do was to place my individual thoughts, which I guess many of you agree with, together in this post. And this is what I wrote. So hashtag Neho, hashtag still Neho. And the title is I Still Believe in Isaac the Royal Storm Dogbe. Dogbe's loss, my thoughts. Beloved in sport, it is a fact that it is a nightmare for any champion. And I'm talking about what Isaac Dogbe suffered. It is a fact that Isaac Dogbe was switched off on the night. His guard was non-existent, and he took unnecessary punishment in the ring as a result. The issue of Isaac Dogbe's defense in the ring is an old minus which reappeared on the night when he fought Emmanuel Navarrete, the El Vaquero. His corner could not turn the situation around. In other words, his corner failed and they have work to do. Something may have gone wrong, which we are getting to know after a few days following the fight. Now, this is the message that I'm sending to my friends, especially those who resorted to Dogbe, resorted to trolling Dogbe on social media. What did Dogbe do to deserve this kind of disgusting line of taunting? Because the big question is, did he not represent Ghana well when he got the opportunity? And look, 4 fights in a year for Dogbe is not a crime. Go back into time and check out the yearly schedules of the likes of the Brockton blockbuster Rocky Marciano and the heavyweight giant Jack Johnson. Remember, in those days, championship bouts lasted a grueling 15 rounds. Dogbe, remember, was a credible champion. He did no shortcuts in boxing. He is an Olympian and has risen above many unseen and unheard challenges and struggles as well. He saw off key contenders in the WBO ranking en route to becoming a world champion. And they include the troublesome Filipino John Neil Tabanao in a fight that I announced. He saw off Javier Chacon. He saw off his Cesar Juarez. He also eventually saw off the then champion Jesse Magdaleno, from whom he snatched the WBO Super Bantamweight title.
I love it.
Beloved in sport, champions have fought and failed to shine, and probably have been worse than Dogbe. Examples: Sugar Ray Leonard when he lost to Roberto Duran Samaniego, his longtime rival. Oscar De La Hoya when he lost to Manny Pacquiao. Mike Tyson when he lost to James Buster Douglas, and Lennox Lewis when he lost to Hasim Rahman. These are just a few examples. So my name is Nathaniel Atto. I believe this is a temporary setback for the young lad, and I believe in Isaac Dogbe's talent, and I trust that he will bounce back. He must bounce back and add his name to the many champions who wrote remarkable comeback stories. In fact, our very own Isaac Dogbe, our very own Joseph Agbeko, from his double encounter with Yoni Perez, is a story of inspiration. Remember that in October 2009, Agbeko was the IBF Bantamweight champion. Yoni Perez, who was undefeated in 19 bouts, defeated Agbeko via a unanimous decision. Listen to the scorecards: 117 to 110, 117 to 110, and 116 to 111 on the scorecards. Agbeko needed only 2 months to reclaim his title from Yoni Perez. Dogbe has traveled well so far, and this loss is a good lesson which can prove a priceless experience depending on how much his corner is willing to learn. Dogbe is cultured, he's well spoken, and he's disciplined, and above all, a good ambassador for Ghana. I repeat, Dogbe is a good ambassador for Ghana. Now, can somebody tell me they want to trade all of this or watch his talent fizzle into thin air? Touch wood. Remember that Dogbe has adopted an accolade, the ever expression, and it can become a point of identity, marketing, and relationship with his fans all over the world. Neho. People, these are my thoughts. He lost the fight, and we'll give all the credit to Emmanuel Navarrete because he did what was necessary on the night and he won the fight. But let's pause to think with a Ghanaian mind a little bit. As things stand now, we do not have a reigning world champion in boxing. Consider the banking crisis. Consider the issues with men's gold. Consider all of the international embarrassment that the number 12 documentary brought to Ghana as a nation and what it revealed. Let us remember that in this year of 2018, Isaac Dogbe has been our brightest spot internationally. Somebody argue with me about that. Beloved in sport, these are my thoughts. Let's now go into Europe and have a discussion about the games this weekend.
Thanks for your time this weekend, and there's no overlooking Liverpool after the exploits in the Champions League against Napoli. Made the round of 16, finished second, and have difficult opponents in the waiting for Monday's draw. How far, though, do you think they can go in this competition?
Well, you're right. I think they could have very, very difficult opponents. Finishing as group runners-up means that they are potentially going to face some really, really tough sides. That great match at Anfield on Tuesday was very dramatic, wasn't it? There was that late save from Alisson making sure that it stayed at 1-0, meaning that Liverpool progressed at the expense of Napoli, but only, as we say, as the group runners-up, because PSG also won, which meant that they went through as group winners. And that really could make a big difference in the knockout stages, as you alluded to. The draw, by the way, is made on Monday for that. Liverpool, well, they can't face another English Premier League side. All sides they've already played in the group stages, which means they will also avoid PSG, which would be nice, I think, for them. But it does mean that they could play Real Madrid, who were group winners, which would be a repeat of May's final, wouldn't it? Or Barcelona, or Bayern, or Dortmund, or Juventus, or Real Madrid, or Porto. That is an incredibly tough list of clubs to face in the last 16. Porto probably the team from that list that they'd most like to face, but actually Porto were the only side to win 5 group matches so far in this competition. So maybe that it wouldn't be as straightforward a fixture as it would first appear on paper, certainly. I think it's going to be tough for Liverpool against any of those teams. And I think what's also going to be tough is that they're obviously in a real battle now at the top of the Premier League with Manchester City for the league title. I think the longer that they keep challenging domestically, the harder it will also be to keep challenging in Europe as well.
How much of a boost or otherwise will making the Champions League be to Tottenham Hotspur, who look very interested in qualifying for next season's competition?
They absolutely do, don't they? In third place at the moment in the English Premier League. That was an unbelievable performance from Tottenham on Tuesday, wasn't it, at Barcelona? I don't think we've seen teams really go to Camp Nou and perform like that very much at all. And lots of the plaudits, quite rightly, being directed at the Tottenham boss Mauricio Pochettino. He called qualification from their group mission impossible after Tuesday's game, after of course they had those really opening poor results earlier on in this season in the group stage. And that form, as we've mentioned, is being mirrored domestically in the Premier League table. They should be really confident to think of a result against Burnley on Saturday, and the place where they are at the moment in the table means they're certainly in the driving seat to qualify for next year's Champions League from a top 4 spot. But I think all that attention on their manager will not go away. He's got some big decisions, I think, coming at the end of the season to make a decision about where he goes in his future. There's lots of rumours of interest from Manchester United and from Real Madrid as well, and those aren't going away.
Domestic stuff then, and Liverpool and Manchester United face off at Anfield in the weekend's big game, with Liverpool hoping to keep their unbeaten record intact. How can Jose Mourinho's Manchester United head Liverpool?
This is the big game of the weekend, isn't it? Absolutely, you're right, George, in the English Premier League. The rivalry between these sides, the history between them goes back for decades, doesn't it? And Manchester United, as you say, they've not been playing well at all this season. It's something we continually talked about at length, really, since the matches first started in August. But they are always up for matches against Liverpool. Now, Liverpool will try and play, I think, really with lots of energy and lots of pace, lots of attacking football. Jose Mourinho, not to sound cynical, I think might try and put out one of the sides where he really tries to stop Liverpool from playing. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of tackles going in from lots of the United players to really try and break up their play. This could be quite a bad-tempered match, I think. I think Manchester United will be incredibly motivated to try and end Liverpool's unbeaten record in the league. I think they will have to soak up a lot of pressure, maybe try and break up players we've mentioned, and really hope that Liverpool's Champions League match in midweek has taken a lot of energy out of them.
Manchester City, after their loss to Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge, need a big reaction, you reckon, but face a tricky Everton side. Can Marco Silva's Everton cause further damage to City?
Well, it could be a good time for Everton to play City, couldn't it, because of that loss that you mentioned at Stamford Bridge last weekend. Or perhaps it could have the opposite effect, and City could come out and completely overwhelm Everton. I think Guardiola will certainly be hoping for that kind of response from his players. He will certainly want to win, especially with one eye on the game we've already mentioned, Liverpool against Manchester United on Sunday. He'll be hoping that his team will be able to lay down an early marker, go back top of the Premier League, and then hope that Liverpool will drop points in their match on Sunday. I think Everton, if they're going to have a chance to really try and stop City, they need to really look at the way that Chelsea played last Saturday and Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool sides, who always seem to perform very well against Manchester City. They need to try and match them for pace and energy, and really try and match their belief if they're going to get a result.
Finally, Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea are in battles of their own and will be looking out for good results. What will be worth noting though in these games and other bottom of the table clashes?
Well, Arsenal and Chelsea battling it out for fourth spot as it stands. Both of them level on points, and both really with games this weekend that they'd hope to win. Certainly Arsenal against Southampton and Chelsea against Brighton. I think Tottenham, they face Burnley on Saturday, and I think it might be a little bit of a struggle for some of the players to get up for this game. They need to find some energy after that amazing Barcelona match that we've already mentioned. But again, motivation for them. If they win against Burnley, it should really help them strengthen their hold on third place in the table. So I think Mauricio Pochettino will be expecting his players to get 3 points in that one. Certainly lower down the table, the one that I'm really looking at on Saturday is Huddersfield against Newcastle. Huddersfield had not had a good week at all. Lots and lots of injury concerns to a lot of their players coming out in the press this week in the build-up to this match. Second from bottom and really in quite a lot of bother in the relegation zone at the moment. But Newcastle, well, they did look like they were getting out of trouble, didn't they? But they've not had a great couple of weeks, and they're in danger of getting dragged back into that relegation fight if the results don't start to come for them.
Who wins that very big one? Especially for those of you who have Jose Mourinho at heart. All right, so back here into the studio, and Yusuf Chips has joined me. A career that has seen him go to different places around, the globe in terms of, pursuing his career. So from here in Ghana, he played for King Faisal, moved to Kumasi Asante Kotoko, then found himself outside the region of Africa. IFK Mariham, Kefli IF, Geo Gardens IF, Alania Sport, GAIS, and also Lunskill SK. Wrapped all of this up in the year 2016, and since then he's got a good story to tell. Yusuf, thank you very much for joining us here.
Thank you very much, Nat.
We want to look at your life, as a footballer, and how far you've come, because a lot of the time the conversations are about, oh, this guy got many opportunities, he played here, he went to Europe, made money. After that, he's struggling financially. What did you decide to do after hanging your boots? What was the plan for you individually?
Yes, thank you very much. Honestly, before hanging my boots, I've always thought of going back to my accounting background. either to work with any of the financial institutions. But then, the latter part of my career, I was much involved with players.
Okay.
I was helping the young ones, those who came to Sweden. I was encouraging them. I became like a mentor, a godfather to them. So I got more interested in this kind of job. That is the managerial part, the agency side.
Okay.
So just 2 years before I retired, I was controlling most of the boys, Daniel Amate, Majid Waris, Isaac Shays, Nasiru Mohammed, Enoch Edukofi, and the rest. So in fact, they encouraged me that it's time I hang the boots and then take control over their management in full time.
I see.
Yeah. So I said, okay, I thought about it. It was attractive, it was interesting for me. So I started planning towards that. I made sure I stopped using all credit cards that I had. Made sure
the credit cards always run you dry, don't they?
Yes.
I see.
I made sure I'm gonna clear all credit cards. I don't want to have any more credit card. I make sure anything I bought in Sweden on contract, I pay it in full. I make sure I'm zero without any debt or anything on my head before I quit, because I was a bit unsure how the job was going to
Tell me, I mean, the thing about dropping all of your credit cards, is it based on an experience that you saw? I mean, is it based on an example from probably here in Ghana or any of your senior colleagues?
Yes, I think they are all factors that influence that decision.
I see.
So you see, money is not about how much you make or how much you get. It's about how much you are able to save. At the end of the day, that is what matters. So getting into a new profession, my income is not fixed. It's uncertain. I don't know how much I'm going to be making, because you only make money when you do transfers. So when you don't do any transfer, you're not making any money. And therefore you'll be relying on the amount of money or your savings. So I made sure I'm zero. If I don't make money, I don't have any debt to pay. I mean, what to eat and what to go about. I have a few businesses around. I could manage that. So, in Europe, you cannot joke with debts and things like that. So it was clear to go clean on those things. So that was the decision that I took.
Wow. And so far it has paid off?
Yes. Fortunately for me, I had a very good kickstart with the job, with the profession. I got a few signings, and then I'm doing well.
We thank God. But without mentioning any specific names, Yusuf, you have playing mates, you have, some are your juniors, some are your seniors as well. Give me a few examples of what you've seen that also added to pushing you to do things straight and do things the right way and make sure that you were clean before, getting into the next phase of your life.
Yes, when Tony Bafo got me involved with PFAG, I saw a lot of things that he was doing to help ex-players.
I see.
Those who were sick, couldn't afford their medical expenses, those who had financial problems, sometimes even money to feed. And aside that, even my own mates that I played with, some of them I used to help, some of them used to call on me, looking for help one way or the other. So, those things scared me more. I took a lot of lessons from that. You could say that the future is really uncertain. You need to plan, but then you also need God's intervention and divine alongside the way.
I see.
So all these factors influence my decision to be extra careful.
Yusuf Chipsa is my guest. He's the General Secretary of the Professional Footballers Association.
Head of Player Relations.
Oh, Head of Player Relations.
Yes.
Okay, General Secretary is still Anthony Bafo,
yes.
who's now
and
the
Deputy General Secretary.
Deputy General
Solomon Tolson.
Wow. Oh, okay. Solid. Okay, so he's in charge of Player Relations. Okay, what does your job entail?
Yes, my job entails anything around the players, player welfare, interests of the players, contractual issues. And stuff like anything surrounding the player relations. It's in my care. So most of the dispute cases, contractual issues that players have with their clubs are on my desk.
I see.
I make sure I attend to them, and I report back to the General Secretary, Mr. Bafo, and his assistant, his vice.
In terms of coverage, I'm expecting that every player, I mean, once you are registered with a club and you are within any of the tiers of Ghana football, will also be registered with the Professional Footballers Association of Ghana. Is that the case?
Yes, that is the case. It's supposed to be like that. We still have some few players who are not yet registered with us.
What are the reasons? What are the reasons for not coming on board?
I don't think they have any reason. Initially, we were thinking about the education. So we've really spent time with club visitation. We used to visit the clubs at their training grounds to educate them more about the importance and the essence of joining the PFAG, the benefits that it's in place for them, and gradually they are beginning to understand the essence of joining the players union. Recently, when the normalization committee met all the captains of the various clubs, most of them were not aware of what the PFAG is doing. So, I mean, gradually we are trying to expand with the educations that we have for them through programs like this with your assistants and other media houses.
I see. You're still here on Joy 99.7 FM. We're looking at the key issue of player welfare, which surely is a very critical part of running football in the country. Now, we're told that regular competition will begin in January 2019, and these are indications that have been given by the Normalization Committee of Ghana. Well, we'll get into some of the things that have been brought forward by players to the Normalization Committee in considering in wanting to, reorganize our statutes and get us back to regular competition before handing over after their mandate is done. You're still here. Let's do a round of commercials, and after that we continue the discussions here. Remember, you can send a text message 0244340437. If you're outside of Ghana, do prefix with +233. This is the Joy Sports Link.
Presents the Drama Pack December. Stay connected and sink in your seat for pure entertainment and intense drama this December on Star Times. Enjoy the much anticipated television series of the year, Leila Jansi's 40 and Single. Prepare for more wows and cheers in the Ghana Challenge as contestants and celebrities battle for the ultimate cash prize on Abdipa TV. Don't miss the House of Umoja. It's fun time with SpongeBob on our kids channel. Get your Star Times decoder now at a reduced price from 90 Ghana cedis to 70 Ghana cedis this Christmas. Star Times, change your view.
And of course, this December on Star Times, you can enjoy the best of sports from the Europa League, the Coppa Italia, the FIFA Club World Cup live in HD. And you can leave your kids with us this season. Be sure that they are watching age-appropriate content on our cartoon channels. Watch the much anticipated award-winning TV series of the year, Leila Jansi's 40 and Single, House of Umoja, and many more. Get your decoder. It's a Christmas promo prize of 70 Ghana cedis. Change your view. Call Star Times now, 0242-437-888, and enjoy the Christmas thereof on Star Times. Star Times, change your view. Next week, there'll be no Joy Sports Link. Mentioned that to you already, haven't I? So Christmas is here again, and it's family time, and your superstation Joy 99.7 FM brings you the Christmas edition of the Party in the Park. Pack that lovely picnic basket and join us at the Legon Botanical Gardens on Saturday, December 22 for a refreshing, fun-filled family day. The rate is a cool 25 Ghana cedis for a family of 6 for just 25 Ghana cedis. So grab your tickets at the front desk of Joy 99.7 FM. Come make merry, bond interactively with other families, and just have fun. The Joy FM Family Party in the Park is proudly brought to you by Woma Africa, manufacturers of Frytol, a cholesterol-free oil, and importers of Fortune Rice. And First National Bank. Swipe your First National Bank Visa card and earn rewards every time. It takes a bank that does more to help your family. So who's helping yours? First National Bank, how can we help you? It's sponsored by Camel. Camel cleans, cares, and protects your for healthy skin. Pepsi, own the moment, still 1 Ghana cedi per. Dole yogurt. More, I want more. Vidya bookstore. Knowledge is power. J. Amado and Sons, Wormplex 400, your number one family dewormer. Millennium Home Insurance, your trustworthy partner. Kids Place, kids satisfaction, our utmost priority. BIC always gives you more. Sahara Rise Hospitality, we make it happen. We define your occasion. The Joy FM family party in the park. My family, my joy. And you know, it's time to get together this festive season with one of the best local and international entertainment on DSTV for just 35 Ghana cedis a month on your TV. And with DSTV now, 4 more mobile devices. You can just web chat us by text on www.easy.dstv.com or call us on 0302 740 540 and SMS on 1731. Get affordable expert entertainment on DSTV. All right, thank you very much for staying here with us. We're still here with Yusuf Chipsa, and he is in charge of player relations with the Professional Footballers Association of Ghana. Now, you met with the normalization committee.
Yes.
Okay. What did you put across to them?
Well, from the PFAG, we put across few points. We spoke about having a standard contract to be used by all the clubs whenever they sign a player, so that at least we'll have uniformity in the contracts that they sign with the players. Because when you look at the current situation now, there are so many different types of contracts, different templates here and there, and that makes dispute cases very, very difficult to handle sometimes. It makes it easier for any of the parties involved in the contract to change things within the terms and conditions.
And these are things that have been happening?
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
So people sign contracts with players.
Serious issues. Players sign contract. Let's say the player knows he signed 2 years contract. At the end of the 2 years, the club comes up and say, no, he signed 3 years. And they will bring up a contract that shows that the player signed 3 years. But the copy of the player shows 2 years. So we recommended to the FA that there should be a standard contract. And this is something that has been introduced by FIFA too, and it's going to be part of the new regulations. So this standard contract should be uploaded on the FA website, or should be available at the FA website, and all clubs should be allowed to use that standard contract. Just the details of the contract should change. I mean, the duration of the contract, and then the
financial details. Yes,
exactly. So we put that across. We also encourage the clubs to take over insurance for the players. The PFAG has been insuring the 16 clubs so far for the past 3 years.
I see.
We had an insurance package for them for the past 3 years. So now we want the clubs to take over that responsibility. They should be able to insure their players. So the committee, the FA, should make sure that it should be a requisite, a requirement for clubs to be given the license to participate in the season. You should be able to meet all these requirements. Make sure that you have insurance package for all your players. Use the standard contract that is recommended by the FA, and also all professions or all professionals have their SNIT contributions. Every worker in Ghana has a SNIT contribution. Players do not have. So we recommend that this also should be introduced, so that at the end of the day, when players go on retirement, at least they have some savings to rely on. We also spoke about guaranteeing the annual salary or the monthly salary of players. That has been a major problem within the industry now.
Okay, but before you go on with that issue of some weeks back, I had some club owners here in the club administrators here in the studio, and the argument was that, look, in football, bonuses really are the deal, and monthly salaries, yes, but at the end of the day, it's your performance. You're winning. Once we're winning, we're getting paid, and we're getting big money. And sometimes your bonuses, if everything is going well with the club and you're getting the results, becomes 3 or 4 times more than your salary, monthly salary.
You should have asked them how much bonuses are they paying. I mean, if you should find time to ask the individual clubs what their bonus structure is, you'll be surprised. Some have bonus of 35 cedis, 50 cedis.
35 Ghana cedis bonus, winning bonus.
Winning bonus.
Per player?
Yes, per player. 50 cedis, 100 cedis. I mean, the salary is the most important thing. The salary and bonuses, I mean, they are not guaranteed. A club could be playing well but still lose games. It happens. That is football. So players cannot really rely on bonuses. I mean, they are something extra, but the salary is the main thing that the players really look up to. And when the salaries are not coming, it becomes a problem. So if we should find a way, there are models now being used in Europe. I mean, we can emulate them. We can copy them and bring them here, and I'm sure it's going to work. Just to make sure that the salaries of the players are guaranteed. We have sponsorship. That is something that the normalization committee should look up. I mean, we need to get the government, we need to get corporate bodies, private companies on board to sponsor the league here, because finance has been a global challenge to the sport of football. I mean, it's everywhere. Even in European clubs have problems with their finances. But they are able to manage it well. If we are able to raise sponsors, enough sponsors, but before you can do that, we also need to rebrand ourselves very well, because no company, no corporate body would like to associate itself with a negative brand or something that has more bad news than good news. If we are able to raise sponsorship, enough money, then we can guarantee the annual salaries of all the players paid into an account, a consolidated account, or with a bank or with board of trustees or anything. They will make sure that at the end of every month, the players are paid from this account. The money is there. The remaining of the sponsorship money should be distributed to the clubs, because they also have other expenses. They have their transportation, administrative charges, utility bills, and stuff like that. I said this, but the PFAG suggested this because we don't say all the clubs, but some of the clubs, when they get the sponsorship money, instead of investing in the club or taking care of players and their technical team, they end up acquiring properties for themselves, or making private investment for themselves, not for the club. And that comes how, at the end of the day, they are not able to pay the players. So if we are able to put this model in place and make sure that we guarantee the salaries of the players, the annual salaries of the players will have assurance that at the end of the month he knows his salary is going to come. Then they will not be rushing to go to neighboring countries like Zambia, Ethiopia, Tanzania. They have been attracted by $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. But trust me, even there they don't get paid. So why should he go for $2,000 if he will be facing challenges?
So
outside?
This is how bad it gets sometimes.
Yes.
Some of these players do not get paid.
Yes.
In some of these destinations,
Yes,
we feel...
I mean, Zambia alone have solved about 6-7 cases.
I see.
Ghanaian players in Zambia that are not paid their salaries.
I see.
So
it's not so rosy out there after all.
No. Like I said, finance has been a global challenge to the sport of football. It's everywhere. But our players don't have that patience, or they rush in accepting these offers because they don't get their salaries here. The salaries, one, are not enough. Second, they don't even come on time. Thirdly, some don't even come at all. If you should do a survey now, there are some clubs that have not paid their players for like 3, 4, 5 months. So how do you expect the players to survive? Most of them don't have any other profession. Football is the main thing that they do. Some of them are family. They have wives and kids. Others have girlfriends. And their families look up to them. So if we should find a model that will put in place this kind of things, guarantee the player's salary, I think the players will be patient a little bit. They will not rush to accept offers from neighboring countries whereby they will go there and be facing problems. It's better to be in Ghana and be taking $1,000, $1,500, where you have a family, you speak your language, you eat your food, you have people around, you feel at home. It's much better than going for a $1,000 deal that it's a foreign country, you know nobody there, you don't speak the language, the money doesn't even come.
I see.
So I think if we put these things in place, we'll be able to retain the best players that the league has been producing. Fans keep saying the league is not attractive, but every now and then the league produces good players which travel outside. The fact that the players attract offers from outside, that means there are good players here. There are a lot of talents here. So if we are able to put in place these models, these mechanisms that will allow the players to have patience, to mature enough. Sometimes I use myself as an example when I talk to the players. When I joined Kotoko, the salary was good. Winning bonuses were fantastic, and they were flowing. We had offers because we were all the time playing in continental matches. We had offers from North African countries, but we never rushed to go. Why? Because we were comfortable here. Our salaries were enough for us. The winning bonuses were enough for us. So we waited until the right time came. We thought that, okay, this is a good offer for myself and for the club. Then we go. But now it's difficult to tell a player to be patient. He will never understand. His family will not even agree to that, because one, he's not making any money here to take care of the family. They don't get nothing from him. Some of them end up telling their children, "Oh, born now, You see, so when they get offers from Nigeria, from Zambia, from Tanzania, Ethiopia, and it's $1,500, they will take it. Everybody will take it. I will take it too if I'm in their shoes. So I think it's high time we put these models in place, and that will ease the desire to go out for unattractive.
From what you've observed, what should be the standard salary for a regular player in the Ghana Premier League?
I think the FA or the Normalization Committee need to engage the clubs as well. Like I said, we need to first of all make sure that we get sponsors on board. But then, in order to present your budget to the sponsors, you need to have all these factors in consideration. For me, my personal view, if a player is earning 1,500 minimum in Ghana, it's not bad. It's not bad at all, because
this is on the average.
Yes.
Yeah.
The minimum. I mean.
Yeah. Minimum. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know clubs that pay players 2,000, 3,000 in Ghana.
Yeah.
And they pay on time. You understand? And we know clubs that pay 200 Ghana, 150 Ghana, 300 Ghana. So I think if it's 1,500 minimum, it's not bad, because as we talk, we also need to consider the club owners as well. And that is why I say we need to enforce our hunt for sponsorship. That is the way forward.
Enforcing the hunt for sponsorship, the way forward. Yusuf Chipsa, remember he was there in Germany 2006 as well, when Ghana participated in the first World Cup. Well, later on we'll talk about a bit of that and his personal journey as well, a bit more into his personal journey. There's a message from Selomin Dawinya. He says, "Hello Nathaniel, thanks for your life. May you live long." Oh, amen to that. Thank you very much. You are so natural, apolitical, and on top of it all, God-fearing, which many people lack in this part of the world. Can I have your accounts on Instagram and Twitter? Still Nehu. Okay. Thank you very much, Selom. Well, on Twitter, it's at @Ato5, and on Instagram, it's at Citizen Ato. All right, messages are welcome here. 0244340437. 0244340437. Major revelations made here. There are clubs that are altering contracts of players. There are clubs that are also not paying on time, as a problem that we've seen severally with our footballers and our football clubs. So you join the discussion. Let us know what your views are, as well as we look forward to the best way to ensure the utmost interest of the footballers who do the work on the pitches. 0244340437. Remember, in about 20 minutes time, we will activate the phone line so that you can also join us with your thoughts. Now, let's look at the level of confidence that these footballers and all, I mean the fraternity in general, has in the Normalization Committee. You've had your interactions with them. They sent the invitation, you honored it, you've put your thoughts across. How much confidence generally, from where you sit, does the fraternity have in the Normalization Committee and the ability to deliver on the mandate?
Yes, I think it was a step in the right direction for the committee to have invited the captains or the representative of the various clubs. That alone sends a signal that they have confidence in the players. We all know players are the major stakeholders of the game when it comes to football. Without them, it's impossible to do football. So from that point, when the players were invited, I think they have some sort of confidence and hope in the committee that with time, their concerns will be taken into consideration and things will be much, much better than it used to be. Otherwise, this whole month that has been wasted, we've been waiting for, will be in vain, to be wasted.
I see. You're looking forward to the new season. There's a format, a competitive format that is coming
yes, up. I heard the news yesterday, and we're all looking forward. The fans are looking forward. The players are hungry. They want to get back to the field. Everybody is looking forward to see football back. So we hope that it's something that will have detailed information about what kind of how the structure looks like. But so far as football is coming back, it's a good news.
Well, good news indeed. Tell me what the club owners tell you as regards to the kind of pain that they go through financially, especially during this lean period.
Yes, I would like to emphasize on this issue. Most of the club owners see the PFAG as enemies or threats.
I see.
Yes.
Why?
I don't know why. Maybe because it's a players' union and we fight for the interests of the players. But then we've said it on uncountable times that we are players' union, yes, but at the same time, we also used to advise the players to behave. Therefore, if a player is unfair to a club, we are not saying because we are players' union, we are supporting the player. We'll make sure the player does the right thing. If you sign a contract, you must respect the contract and obey the rules, the conditions under your contract. So we want to send this message across to the club owners again that we are not their enemies. We are not threats to them. We are here to foster a relationship between them and the players. So if they have issues, they should come to us. Majority of the Premier League clubs were not present at the committee's invitation. That was bad. We don't know why, but we think because the clubs did not allow them. There was an interview from one of the players saying that he was not given TNT. That is why he didn't come. And these are the same players coming to us complaining that they don't get paid. They don't have their winning bonuses. They don't do this, and you've been given a very nice opportunity.
So it means that these club owners were deliberately preventing their players from attending the meeting.
Some of them, I can say that because even when we go on club visitation and we give out the forms for the players to sign, to fill in, to be members of the union. Most of these clubs, they keep the forms. They never give it out to the players.
I see.
Yes. They never give it out to the players. So we know some of the club owners are the reasons why some of the players are not joining the union. But they should know, the players should know that the union is there for them. The union is not there for club owners. And we fight for their interests. And so they have to take the responsibility upon themselves to make sure that they join. The few people that have joined can witness what kind of job we're doing for them.
Okay, there's another one here that says, hey, Alaji Gru says Yusuf Alapsan, Kip says Kimsad. That's the way Alaji used to pronounce your name. God bless this man. Okay, thank you very much for your message. 0244-340-437. 0244-340-437 here on the Joy Sports link on Joy 99.7. In a bit, we'll activate the phone line as well. Now, in the eventual scheme of things, what do you want to see happen as regards, your reach as an organization in Ghana football?
Yes, we want to see better Ghana football. We want to reach to the point that we can compare ourselves to the European standard. Whereby you never see most players complaining about unpaid salaries, unpaid bonuses, and things like that. That is our target. And honestly, we cannot do it alone. We cannot do it alone. We need the players to cooperate. We need the club owners to also cooperate. Together, we can join hands and make sure that we reach the height where we want to go.
I see. Now let's do this bit as well about the quality. I mean, people sit down here, they say, look, we can never match the quality of the European game. So they prefer to watch games on television, watch on large screen pitches, players are playing beautiful formations and all of that. and we do not have the quality. I heard you say earlier that if we didn't have the quality, then we wouldn't be producing the players. You think we've got quality, the quality that can eventually match that of Europe?
We've got them. We've got them in abundance. I mean, it's God. God it's a gift from God. I mean, not only Ghana, but Africa, the land of Africa. We keep producing talents here and there. We've had an African player who has been a world best player before. How many Asian players have we had to be world best? It's most of the time European and South America. You see, so we have the talent in abundance. We have players, African players in Europe that are on top. If you talk about best 10 players from every club, you have them. Even in Ghana here, see our own Kuja Samoa now. He's one of the best players in his club. Very important player. We've had players like Stephen Appiah, Samuel Osei-Kuffour, and the rest. My own general secretary. So we have what it takes to be there. We just have to manage things well and organize ourselves well. We need to package ourselves very well.
So the quality, we've got world beaters. You think that as we go along, there's going to be a time when people can comfortably sit down and forgo games in Europe and watch local games?
Everything is possible now. It used to be like that before. People were watching local games. They were not much interested in foreign games. There are a whole lot of factors. Technology has advanced. There weren't enough decoders at that time. But then, it doesn't take the fact away that people are still interested in local football. The complaint, if you listen to the fans, the complaint is there are no good players to go watch. The league is not attractive and things like that. But still, I think there are players there. So far as the league continues to produce players every year that are transferred out to European clubs, that means we still have the talent and we can do much, much better. Like I said, if the players are happy and they'll have that patience to stay a bit longer in the season before they go out, it's also a factor that will make the league attractive. I had 7 years in Premier League before I went to Europe. I had 3 years, 4 years with Alhaji Guza, 3 years with Kotoko. So imagine players of these days, just after a year, he gets a very good season. He thinks he's matured for Europe. He wants to go. The fact that he's not making much money here, he wants to make money. And at the same time, we used to advise the boys too. A lot of the boys are not poor now, are not in problems now because they were not paid good salaries here. Mismanagement is also part of us. Players. They should know that the lifespan of a professional footballer on top is max 10 years. 10 years, you'll be done. So let's say if you start players, if you are fortunate, you could play till 15 years. If you start playing earlier, at the age of 16, 17 plus 15 years, 32. Football, the maximum age you will reach is 35. From 30 to 35, it's bonus. If you don't retire yourself, the fans will retire you, especially in Ghana. They'll start calling you Oluman and you are old and stuff like that.
Did you suffer any of that at any point, playing for the national team?
Unfortunately, I didn't.
But you see it happen to some of your teammates?
Yes, it does. And even now, it does. We have players who are still young. Anelka played for 42 years.
Very well. You've brought a very good example in Nicolas Anelka. Yeah. So how do you feel when the football fans do these things to your teammates?
It's very bad. It's very bad. I think we need to educate the fans on that. They need to encourage the players more. Football, there are a whole lot of factors that counts. If you are able to take good care of your body, you stay away from smoking, from drinking, excessive smoking, drinking, and womanizing. Because it's a game of energy. You need energy to perform. You have to run, you have to jump, you have to do all sorts of activities. So, if you take good care of your body, you eat well, you sleep well, then you could play longer. Like I said, Anelka played for 42 years. Buffon is still playing, though he's a goalkeeper, but he's still playing. You understand? If you go watch the Black Stars training now, if you see the way Olele trains with the goalkeepers, Olele could still play football. But imagine Olele trying to play for a local club here. What people will say. He's old, old Duade and stuff like that. So we the players need to know that we have our lifespan is very, very short, and you never know how many years God gives you to live on earth. If you have 30, if you are fortunate to live longer, 70, 80. So let's say if you stop playing at 30 or 35, you quit playing. You don't have any other profession. You have another 30 more years to live on the savings that you've made, the investment that you've made. So that is where the fear is. This is a signal to tell you that you don't have to mismanage your finances whilst you are playing. But we see players of today spending in excessive things that are not really necessary, forgetting that after 35 you cannot play football. And if you are to live for 60, 70 years, you have another 30 more years whereby you'll be relying on the money that you've saved. Like I said, it's about how much you can save, not how much you are making at the moment. So we always advise the players when we meet them as a players union to plan their life after football. That is why we've introduced a life after football fund together with Fidelity Bank. We've educated the players on that. This is a fund that they need to do the contribution themselves. When you get your salary, 5 cedis, 10 cedis, whatever amount you can afford, just make sure you put it in this fund. By the time you retire from football, the interest is compound interest. That 5, 10 cedis that you've been putting there would have matured into a huge capital. Then you can set up a business with when you retire. So these are things that they need to consider, they need to focus on, rather than spending unnecessarily or excessively.
Now, on the average, are these footballers listening at all? Do they give you and I'm saying on the average, I mean, do you get that feel that they are ready to listen and move away from the flashy lifestyles and all of that?
Well, listening, they do listen, but if they actually practice what we tell them, that is the issue here. We had this Life After Football Fund cooperation with Fidelity Bank, so very soon we'll be having a meeting with them, end of year meeting, to see how things are going, if the players are really contributing into the fund. We never wanted to put this in the hands of the club owners as in a direct debit to their accounts. We wanted the players, we wanted them to understand the reason, the essence of contributing into that fund. So we asked them to be doing this contribution on their own. So we'll see how it's going, if they are really buying into that idea. But some of them do give the issues, the excuse that the salaries are not even coming, so they are unable to make the contributions into that fund.
Okay, so some more of your messages here, and my name is Abel Manume. I'm a local-based football player. My last club I played for was Accra Great Olympics. I had to go back to school and pursue my MPhil because I was not sure of my future, especially after the Anas expose, whilst football was put on hibernation in Ghana. It is welcome news that the Normalization Committee is getting ready to make football in Ghana work again. I had to turn a good offer down from Bahrain to pursue my education. Yusuf Chipsa is an inspiration. Let's support club owners, the Normalization Committee as well, to make us play football again in Ghana. Okay, so
another intelligent boy.
Okay,
very, very intelligent.
I see.
Abel, yes. He's part of the PFAG, and the last time we met them at the office, I mean, he made fantastic contributions.
I see.
Yes, he's one of the boys that we are really looking to tap on after his education.
Okay, how easy is it to, and this is where we start zeroing in on you as an individual. How easy has it been combining education with a football career?
Honestly, it has not been easy, and you need to persevere. You need to set a goal, a target for yourself, and make sure that you really want to achieve that aim. You really want to achieve that target. Nothing is impossible. That has been my own principle and philosophy. Nothing on earth is impossible. It's up to you. If you really want to achieve it, there might be failures along the way, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. I mean, so I remember whilst I was a member of the U20 national team, the Black Satellites. We used to camp in Winneba, but then I was doing my HND at that time. So
I see.
Yes. So when we go to camp, we camp from Monday to Friday. Then we are being released to join our clubs. I was playing for King Faisal at that time. We are being released to join our clubs for the weekend games. So when we leave Winneba on Friday evening, I go straight to campus, and then fortunately for me, my roommate we were doing the same course, Emmanuel Boutre. He's now one of the national auditors. We were doing the same course, so I go straight to him and get the lectures for the week, make photocopies before I join King Faisal in camp. So when I get back to Winneba on Monday, after training, whilst my colleagues are sleeping, I used to stay awake and be studying. And Joe Louis used to give me problems a little bit. He would tell me, my friend, I have a bobo in school.
Wow.
Meanwhile, he will put off the light. He will ask me to go down to the common room to go study because they want to sleep.
Wow.
So I mean, it's not easy. You need to. There's sacrifices that comes along with it, but you need to be determined and persevere because you can make it. So far as some people have been able to achieve that, anybody at all can do it.
Anybody at all can do it. You need to persevere. These are the words of the man, Yusuf Chipsa. He's my guest in the studio as we discuss player welfare. We're also taking bits from his personal story as well and the journey he's traveled so far in football. Now, was there any point where you thought, okay, you know something, let me take Joe Louis's advice. Let me just, let's put this education thing aside. Let's play some football.
Yes, actually, there was a point that I had to choose between joining the team for the Africa Under-20 youth tournament in Ethiopia and then writing my final exams.
Okay,
and
share with us.
I always thank the late Kochiki Afrani for his intervention. I went up to him and I told him, Coach, it's 2 days to go to Ethiopia and I have my final exams to write. So honestly, I want to defer my course in order to make it to the Under-20 tournament. But then he told me he doesn't think it's the best choice because this is Africa. There's still going to be World Cup. Football will be there forever. So if I want to listen to him, as I've come to him, he will advise me to go finish my program in school. And then he promised me that so far as he was going to take me to Ethiopia, when they come back and they qualify to the World Cup, he's going to invite me back to camp. So I really took his advice. I went back to finish my HND at that time. So I wasn't part of the team that went to Ethiopia.
Yes, I remember. Wow, I see. May his soul rest in peace, Coach Ike Afrani. Fantastic coach. All right, so in a bit we'll activate the phone line. Remember, the number is 0302216541. 0302216541. 0302216541. Join us and let's get talking. We're talking player welfare here on Joy 99.7 FM on the Joy Sports Link. We're going all the way to the to the top of the hour, 2 p.m. Now, there's a message here, and I'd like to share with you. Okay, having a bit of a challenge trying to retrieve it. There we go. Citizen Atto, I can't agree more. And we have waited too long for the report on the Australia Commonwealth Games visa scandal. Until you mentioned it today, I honestly didn't know that the suspended NSA boss Robert Safo-Mensah's name came up in the number 12 documentary. I was shocked about the fact that 2 weeks ago, the presidency in a press release to us claimed Robert Safo-Mensah, who was suspended over the visa scandal, had resigned and had been replaced. How could someone serving a suspension resign? We need that visa scandal report now. This is from Koku Mauli Nanegbe. Okay, thank you very much, Koku, for the message. The 0302216541. Join us. Let's get talking here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, you've been talking about the coaches in this side of the world as well. Let's talk, because we're talking issues of quality. You've spoken about the quality of the game and how you feel that we can go back to the days when people used to forgo what was happening in Europe and everything for local games. Now, the technical bit of the game as well, are we up to scratch?
Yes, I mean, there has been a lot of technological advancement in the game of football, and it's recently we saw in the World Cup the VAR and stuff like that. There has been other mechanisms that are being used. So we we tried on PFAG. We try to encourage some of the young ones to also to undertake courses in coaching, to go for refreshing courses as well, so that because we have most of the coaches we have in Ghana are living out of the system. I mean, we've lost about 4 or 5 great coaches for the past 2 years or 3 years.
Yeah.
John Satukwefio, Coach Afrani, Coach Ade, and the rest. So we need to make sure that there should be continuity. But like I said, the sport is not getting attractive to most people who have the interest, who have the desire to join, all because 1 or 2 issues here and there. But then we need to encourage them to make sure that they go for courses to upgrade themselves, because the game is getting more technological now. It's more scientific than it used to be. If we want to match up with the Western world, then we need to do exactly what they do over there.
I see. All right. So if you want to get up there, then we need to start getting up with technology and getting up to speed with technology here on the show. Let's talk about your experiences. Let's talk about the Ghana Premier League back then. I mean, you played for King Faisal, you played for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. So you were involved in derbies and you had to play against your former side and all of that. Tell me about that journey and how it has shaped your career.
Yes, the journey wasn't all that smooth. Like I said earlier on, I joined the Premier League club right from Coast Football. Alhaji Guza scouted me from Connors Babies as a U17 player. So when I joined, I was still a kid. And the then coach thought I was too young to play in the Premier League, so he wasn't using me. I was used in those days. There was a knockout games before the league commences. All clubs gather at Accra Sports Stadium to go to a gala. So I played in that gala, and afterwards the league started. The coach thought I was too young to be playing, so I was kept out in the first 4 games, which we lost about 2. We lost 3 and had 1 draw. So the next game, the 5th game, was against Kotoko. Alhaji Guza was very, very furious, so he made sure he was at the training grounds the whole week, from Monday to Friday, to watch the training. And at the end of the week, players were called to camp, and I wasn't part of the squad. So I was home. Saturday, Alhaji Guza came and asked me to join him to camp. So I didn't want to go. I told him the coach has done his selection, and I'm not part of his squad. So even if I go, he's not going to use me. But he said he is the owner of the club, and he was there at the training grounds from Monday to Friday. He saw the performances over there. Nothing shows that I cannot play. So well, I joined Alhaji. He took me to camp. And then on Sunday, the game day, when the coach was calling out the squad, the selection first 11, when he got to the midfield, the defensive part, number 6, he said, Alhaji said, "Obiti miabo inti kobone ensho." This is a coast player who has just joined the Premier League. It's my first Premier League game against Kotoko, and the coach tells me the best. I'm very grateful to Nur Ahmed. He's now the assistant coach of the U20 or U17, I think. And Masaudu Abolo and Nana Puku, they were all playing for King Faisal at that time. They encouraged me. They told me, it's not anything different. It's just as you play with us in training. It's the same thing. So I went out there, and fortunately for me, I excelled. I did well, and since that day, I never pulled out the shirt for 4 years that I stayed with King Faisal.
Wow. Interesting stuff there. Tell me about the derbies as well. Anytime you had to play, I mean, especially when you moved to Kotoko, anytime you had to play against King Faisal. Yeah,
it wasn't easy. I mean, King Faisal was like a family to me. I had a very good relation with them, so it wasn't easy. But that is my job. I need to be professional in that. And I don't know up to now, but I think I was the only player that left King Faisal and then scored against them.
Wow.
We met King Faisal in a crucial game in Kumasi, and we won by a lone goal to 0, and I scored in that game.
Wow.
I remember Alaji saying the defeat is not painful as the person who scored. So it was always fun to be playing against. When I joined Kotoko, it was always fun to be playing against King Faisal, House of Folk, Ashanti Gold. I mean, these games are always, the stadium is packed, full. I mean, so it was great to see the stadium in its full capacity. That gives you some kind of motivation, because with Kotoko, you know, when you win or when you play well, you know what you are expecting from Monday. When you go to town, it's people shower gifts on you, people call you to their offices.
I've heard that thing about Kumasi and and playing football there, and how people are very, very generous. So what are some of the, I mean, let's do a bit of detail here. I mean, to what extent do football fans go in Kumasi when they want to show love to you?
Not you can't believe it. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. It's crazy. We had a fan who loaded about 100 cement bags to be transported from Kumasi to Accra to Charles Taylor for free.
I see.
For free. You go to buy things, you get them for free. I mean, so the love that fans in Kumasi have for football, not only for Kotoko, for football, because after Kotoko, when the national team is in Kumasi, they do support as well. But especially for Kotoko, you only need to be scoring, winning games. And like I said, during our days, we were not in a rush to go to North African countries and Dubai and the Gulf area. We had offers, but we were never in a rush to go because we were happy. I mean, the money, there wasn't a situation, a case that we have to go ask for even our salary. The salaries go into our accounts at the end of the month, but you never even bother to go see if the salary is there, because the winning bonuses were coming. The board of directors, Mr. Despite, Kwabena Kese, Otumfuo Mpaboahene, I mean, name them. All the top guys, the gurus in town were all board members of Kotoko, and they all came with their promises. Just a single game, you could make as much as you can imagine after the game when you win. And then the supporters too were very, very contributing. After a game, it's like you've gone to the supermarket to shop. We were having provisions, soap, sardines, everything. Circle 9 will bring theirs, Circle 22, Circle 100, is this Circle. They were showering us with gifts and stuff like that. So the motivation was there. We were not in a rush. We felt happy. We felt at home. So we were not in a rush to join clubs outside where we're not very sure about our future. And we're not. That's why I said, if we are able to make this current squad, these current players in Ghana, if we are able to satisfy them, to make sure that they are happy here, they will not be rushing to go to countries like Congo, Zambia, Ethiopia, Nigeria, just to go there and struggle. It's better to stay here and feel comfortable than go there in the name of $1,000 or $2,000 and then struggle.
Let's talk about the FIFA World Cup 2006, the time when we started a qualification series and all. Tell me about how you got drafted into the senior team in the first place.
Yes, I was the captain of the Olympic team then.
Of course.
We just qualified for. No, we won silver at the All African Games in Abuja. No, we won bronze. We were third. We won bronze. So Ralph Zundik was our coach there, and he was also the coach of the senior national team. So he promoted few of us, myself, Yahuza, Kojo Poku, Boache, Isaac Boache. Some of us were promoted to join the senior national team, and that is how it all started. So I was one of the few players, I think it's about only 2 or 3, who was part of the squad from day one, from the prelims of the qualifying games till the last game. I missed some games in between, but then from the first game, the preliminary games, to the last game that we qualified to Germany 2006, I was part of the team. So it was a great journey. First time we qualified to the World Cup. Though at the World Cup I was a standby player, but then that alone was also something huge for me.
I see. I see. Let's talk about playing on the stage itself. I mean, we started with Italy, who eventually won the tournament. There was a lot of expectation on the Black Stars. We lost that game by 2-0.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that we lost the game against Italy, but I think we did well. We played well. It was our first time to participate in the World Cup. Italy, they've been there a couple of times. The experience-wise, they were ahead of us, but then we did well. I think we matched them boot to boot, just that they had the edge. They took advantage of our errors, our mistakes that we did there to punish us. It's part of the game, but in all, it was a great experience. And then I wasn't surprised we continued to qualify for the World Cup on 2 more consecutive times. We learned from the experience that we had in Germany. We corrected our mistakes, and then we took that with us to qualify for 2010 as well. So the experience was great. It was a good one.
Wow. Now, then we went to South Africa 2010. We did what we could do. There was the issue of the scooping of the ball by Luis Suarez. He then became a global hit afterwards. And then came Brazil.
Yes, we all knew what happened in Brazil. I mean, I think it was lack of proper planning.
Okay.
From the management committee or management team, because we knew what was ahead of us. They knew all the financial budget that was needed. They had meetings with the players, a couple of meetings. They all knew that the players were supposed to get this amount of money before. They all knew the winning bonuses and whatever financial conditions that were there. So I think we should have put things in place to avoid all this embarrassment that later happened. We had to fly money to Brazil. It was a global news everywhere, here and there. People were mocking some of the players for kissing the money and issues like that. You know, the moment these things happen, when there's a failure, it's easy to associate the failure to such reasons. It was unfortunate, but I think it was lack of planning, proper planning.
Lack of proper planning.
Yeah.
I see. And then the next time we couldn't even qualify at all for Russia.
Yes, it was unfortunate, but then what can I say? I think Egypt deserved that qualification. They really deserved it on merit. So I cannot say our planning wasn't our preparation wasn't that much. But then if you look at the crop of players that we used throughout that qualification period, I mean, there wasn't a lot of consistency in the squad, and it could also be a factor. But then, honestly, Egypt really deserved that qualification.
We've seen the the performances of African teams over the years at the FIFA World Cup. As we speak, the semi-final is still a no-go zone in quotes for African teams. When will this ever change from what you have observed and what has happened over the years?
I personally think it's long overdue. I mean, we had a great opportunity to have made that happen in South Africa. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I mean, it's past. But right from South Africa, I think it's high time in one of the African countries qualifies to the semi-final stage of the World Cup. We had high hopes on Egypt in Russia. But unfortunately, they disappointed Africa. It's never too late. I think it's high time any African club qualifies to the semi-final, and I will not be surprised if it's Ghana that makes that mark first.
All right, the expansion of the FIFA World Cup, is this something you agree with, the expansion, the proposed expansion of the FIFA World Cup?
Yeah, we can read a lot of meaning into that. I think there are a whole lot of factors that FIFA considered. Is to make the game more fun. They think it's too short a time to I mean, the moment the fans are enjoying the game gets to an end. And at the other point is, I think FIFA is also trying to maximize revenue on that part as well, the sale of tickets, and the more countries come, the more they get to raise their revenue. So I think we could read a lot of meaning into it. But at the end of it, to summarize everything, I think it's not a bad idea. We all love the game, and something that you love, you want it to last forever. So there are other disadvantages as well that could come with the expansion. That is the choice of venue and the stadia capacity and routes or hooliganism from fans. I mean, but FIFA is a great organization. I'm sure they will consider all those factors before they came up with that decision.
All right, let's talk about the Africa Cup of Nations, and as we speak, we're still looking for who will be given the opportunity to host it. Now, when these problems pop up, I mean, this issue of lack of preparedness, does it bother you a bit, especially as you are looking at the forward picture, the future picture of football, not only in Ghana but on the African continent?
Yes, it does. It does for the fact that it's an African country in the first place. I mean, it doesn't speak well of us. It sends a negative signal. Again, the Westerners will say we are not well organized. But I mean, it has to do with political factors and other issues. The safety of the participating countries are also very, very essential. So, I mean, it was a right decision that CAF took, because if they cannot guarantee the safety of the participating countries or clubs, then there is no need to go ahead with it. But then, like I said, it sends a negative signal again that it's Africa, and people could read meaning into it. But we're looking forward to see which country will be ready to host it. I mean, there isn't much time as compared to the stuff that needs to be put in place. Financially, it's also a burden to CAF, because I think they've started already investing in stadia and other stores in Cameroon. So now they need to shift attention and then pump in another money to a different country that will be ready to host. So it's plus and minuses involved in those situations.
You were here in town when the Black Queens played in the last edition of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Your thoughts?
I wasn't in town, but okay. I was monitoring. I was in the 5th Pro General Assembly in Rome. But we really was looking forward to our women making us proud. They did their best. They did their best, but unfortunately, they couldn't lift the trophy. Nigeria did, and I think they deserve it. We are still looking forward to see the day that the Black Queens will lift the African trophy.
Has coaching appealed to you?
Not really, honestly.
Why?
I don't really know why, but I think I love to be with the managerial side more. Though modern coaching has also got some managerial part of it, but I think one thing that discouraged me was the way fans used to throw things at coaches and insult them and their families and issues like that when I was young. So I lost the interest right from there, and then I grew more interest in managerial part as I was growing up. So coaching has not been top on my list. But I had an advice from a friend who said, it's not bad to have the badges. You don't need to practice it. So maybe one day I'll be taking the badges. But I don't know. I cannot promise if I really want to be a coach.
I see. Taimo Yusuf Chipsa, an ex-Ghana international, and now the man in charge of player relations at the Professional Footballers Association of Ghana, Ghana's branch of 5th Pro, who look purely at player interests and player welfare. Let's do a round of commercials and zoom in on the final leg of our conversations here on Joy 99.7 FM.
StarTimes presents drama-packed December. Stay connected and sink in your seat for pure entertainment and intense drama this December on Star Times. Enjoy the much-anticipated television series of the year, Leila Jansi's 40 and Single. Prepare for more wows and cheers in the Ghana Challenge as contestants and celebrities battle for the ultimate cash prize on Abdipa TV. Don't miss House of Umoja. It's fun time with SpongeBob on our kids channel. Get your Star Times decoder now at a reduced price from 90 Ghana cedis to 70 Ghana cedis this Christmas. Star Times, change your view.
Okay, so let's give you some updates on the game between Asante Kotoko and Kariobangi Sharks. It's 0-0. And the game is ongoing. We'll be updating you as we go along and as we go towards the end of the show. The CAF Confederation Cup game between the Porcupine Warriors, Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and Kariobangi Sharks. Okay, now you attended the FIFPro General Assembly in Rome, and I'm sure that there were many takeouts from there as well.
Yes, there was the General Assembly in Rome, I think from the 26th of November to the 29th of November. And a whole lot of issues pop up there, all in the interest of player interests, protecting the player interest and player property and stuff like that. So we had a representative from FIFA, the director of professional football, James Johnson. He was there to do a presentation and then to talk about the cooperation between FIFPro and FIFA. So you could see that we are getting to an era where the World Players Union is much concerned about what happens with players around. It's gone were the days when nobody cared. So I think we need to take that into consideration, make sure that we bring that down to our domestic leagues as well, because FIFPro is taxing FIFPro Africa Division to make sure that their members also practice whatever is done up there. Everything we do now should be FIFPro FIFA compliance. The FIFA is also coming up with new NDRC, that is the Dispute Resolution Chamber. They want to make a domestic one that should make sure that all committees that are set up within the member associations are FIFA compliance, and that means that there should be equal representation from the players' union and club side. So let's say if we take the status committee or the disciplinary committee, for example, it should be equal representation from players' union and the clubs. The players' union should be able to, if it's a 5-member committee, the players' union should be able to choose 2 representatives, legal persons, and then the club owners or the clubs should also choose 2 representatives, and then there should be an independent judge that will come from the FA. And I think the FA is trying to make this fair by allowing the players' union and the clubs to present their members to be voted for to be the independent chair or the chair of the committees. So these are stuff that FIFPro and FIFA are trying to bring into the game to make sure that players are protected. There is also a cooperation between FIFPro Africa Division and Asia. Why? Because we saw that most of African players are being transferred to Asia by fake agents or fake people. They end up struggling. If you talk about players in Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, I mean, it's pathetic.
Wow.
Yes, not only from Ghana but from Africa. African players that are struggling in Asia, it's just too much. So that issue also came up. We discussed it. So FIFPro Africa Division and FIFPro Asia are signing a cooperation to put in place mechanisms to make sure that before any player travels from Africa to Asia, I mean, it should go through the players' union or the federation. It should be known. And this is why FIFA is also bringing up new rules to govern agents. The intermediary system is going to go out. They are bringing back the licensing system. And therefore, every agent should be registered, should go through a test, pass the test before getting accredited by FIFA. Because the introduction of intermediary has made things worse. The FIFA entrusted the whole thing into federations, and they think that there is no control. Anybody gets up tomorrow and he's an intermediary, no knowledge no technical knowledge about the game, and they are wasting talents, young talents, claiming they are agents, taking money from players, and then they end up messing up the careers of players. So these are issues that are arising, and it's going to be the new regulations. Now, any club that signs an agreement with a player or with a club, with an agent, will be uploaded. There's going to be a new TMS system for agents as well, will be uploaded on the system, and there's going to be a clearinghouse whereby transfer fees and agent commissions and stuff like that are going to be paid through the clearinghouse. So FIFA could monitor better. Exactly, yes.
I see.
So these are new stuff that are going to come up in the new regulations, I think, to be introduced in 2020.
Just about to wrap up the conversation on a social note. Remember that Yusuf Chipsa mentioned the bit about players and how sometimes they're not ready to listen. They adopt certain lifestyles, and it ends up becoming their undoing. Let's talk about relationships. Players, their girlfriends, players and wives. Okay. Over the years, we've heard different stories. We've seen players decline because of marriages that they've gone into and all of that. Well, let's go out of Ghana a little bit and focus on Cote d'Ivoire. Emmanuel Eboué, went from riches to rags and became homeless at a certain point in his career. His former clubs are doing their best to see if they can get him back. This thing with footballers, youth footballers, and the choice of women, the choice of girlfriends and all of that, this is a big issue that is affecting you, especially on the social side.
Yes, Nat, it is. It is a very big issue. I don't know how to start or how to put it, but then it all starts from we, the players, wanting to be associated with beautiful girls. Girls that if anybody could see you with, they say, oh wow, okay, she's top, she's a model, she's like that. But I think it's high time we need to find wife materials more than just the outer beauty. You need to find a woman that has both outer and inner beauty, or the inner beauty, to be precise, is better than the outer beauty. And I think the girls are smart. In fact, they are smarter. Most of them, they go in for the players without the players knowing that this girl actually targeted me before she came for me. And the problem here is it's very difficult to know if the girl really loves you, or she came for fame because you are famous or because you are rich. That is something that nobody can tell you. You need to find out that yourself. If you see a girl and you are interested in her, you have to do your homeworks very, very well. Your mom or your dad cannot choose a wife for you. Your friends cannot choose a wife or a girlfriend for you. The final decision is up to you, and therefore it's your own responsibility to make sure that you are going in for a girl that perfectly fits you, a girl that will be a companion, a girl that will be a friend, rather than somebody coming to milk you. The news that we have, or those issues that are out, are lesser than those that are hidden.
I see.
Yes, it's a big blow. It's a big problem that players are facing when it comes to their relationships and marriages and stuff like that. But I think it's difficult to talk about this issue because it's a choice that you do yourself. I can only advise, but the final decision lies with you. So we have to wise up. We have to make sure. Nobody is saying don't marry a celebrity or don't marry a beautiful girl, but make sure she is the right choice for you. Not a relationship that after some years you'll be struggling and she stuff like that. So it's difficult. Actually, a big problem.
Ani ole monolaka, biane ogon fefe basa, tara
Okay, so this is an interesting song by Sina So, who will be here on Joy 99.7 FM. Yes, she's actually going to be a guest on Showbiz A to Z.
Show jolly, oh jolly, she oh jolly, jolly, yeah. Show jolly, jolly, show jolly, oh jolly, show jolly, oh jolly, show jolly, oh jolly, yeah. Show jolly, she hung out fire.
Okay, so my god brother, Charles Saite is ready. And you should see the grin on his face anytime the chorus is being sung. So this is a song by Sina So, a wonderful talent who has so much to give. Okay, you want me to translate? Okay. It's called Ojolly. So Ojolly is boyfriend or girlfriend. And so leave your girlfriend because, or leave your boyfriend because, okay, leave your girlfriend because your wife is in. No comments, so no comments. Yusuf, it's been great having you here in the studio. I know you enjoyed that song yourself.
It's a nice song.
Sure. Final message to Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Still goalless in the game in Kenya? It's over. Oh, okay. So it's just is wrapped up and goalless drawn game.
Okay, that's a
picked
good
up a point from Kenya.
Yes, very very important point. But at the same time, like I say, it's better to have a 2-2 draw, 3-3 draw in an away game than a goalless draw. It's I mean when the opponent comes here to get a first goal, then you'll be under pressure.
Wow.
So it's a good result, but we shouldn't be swollen-headed. We need to kill the game when they come back here. We hope the boys are capable of doing that.
Okay, Yusuf Chipsa, an ex-Ghana international and a World Cup star, and the man who now is in charge of player relations at the PFAG, has been my guest today on the Joy Sports Link. Thank you all so much for listening. Remember, next week there's no Joy Sports Link. We're all going to be there in the park at the Legon Botanical Gardens. The tickets are on sale here at Joy 99.7 FM. 25 Ghana cedis only to get 6 people, members of a family in. Let's have all of you there. And thanks to the whole production team, sit-in production by Joseph Agbobli and the rest of the Joy Sports team. Thank you all very much. The social media team as well. Okay, so Charles Saite will bring us the headline news at 2. My name is Nathaniel Atto. And before I go, happy blessed birthday to you, my brother, Nabil Alassan, who is the CEO of Events Factory. Happy blessed birthday to you. Have a wonderful weekend. Of course, our condolences still go out to a former IGP and Kumasi Asante Kotoko board member, the family, Mr. Kweku Preprache, the late Mr. Kweku Preprache, Kwame Che, Yao Che, Dr. Pel Che, and everybody else. Our hearts go out to you. This is how we wrap it up. My name is Nathaniel Atto, and I have love for sport.